No, they think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. How y'all doing out there? It's Tuesday. And there's a lot going on in the sport, man. Things are looking on the up and up. And there's a lot of various conversations out here going on around the sport. Salute the Cookie Monster. Bodywork. Salute Cookie Monster. Yeah. I'm just here. I don't know, man. Just before I really get into the spiel, man, it's a lot of weirdos online, man. Just be leery of these weirdos, man. It's a dude that come out. He on like 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week, and everything is surrounded in some shape, form, or fashion about this guy they call the One in Baltimore. And this silly ass fool is up here comparing the movie Sinners, talking about this evil energy from Charm City, and everybody knows Charm City is Baltimore, has polluted the boxing world. And I'm like, I don't know what you smoking, you know what I'm saying, that have you thinking this way. All I can say is, man, I grew up in Landover, man. I was born in DC, I grew up in Landover. And when we call people like you, we call you trifling. You're just trifling, man. I don't even see how people I rock with a lot of people that's affiliated with this dude, man. I don't see how they stand his guts. I can't stand his guts. You know what I'm saying? But he won't come. We be over there at smoke session, man. He won't show up, man. It could be it's a neutral spot. He just won't come over there and get that smoke. You know, I mean, I don't really get it. It's always an open invite, but his big ass won't come over there and get in them crosshairs and sit in that hot seat. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I want to say, man. Like, if you on the same fighter every day, all day, and you never have anything good to say, what does that say about you? And you talking about an evil energy, an evil spirit? People are like elevators. They either want to take you up or they're going to take you down. And so far, everything I've seen, that's all he wants to do is take this one fighter down. But he don't keep the same energy. This is the same clown. When they were talking about best rap duos, people were saying like Outkast, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else said Method Man and Redman. This fool said Eric B and Rakim. And somebody had to tell him, you know, one of them only produced, right? One of them was just a DJ, right? Yeah, I know, but if you, yeah. You just be talking out your ass just like you do in the sport of boxing, man. But I'm going to digress. I would digress. You know what I'm saying? Cookie Monster, mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding excellent. Thank you, Cookie Monster. Bills Boot Camp. Salute, Bills. I appreciate you for stopping through, man. But you know, I want to highlight Richardson Hitchins, man, because unbeknownst to many, man, Richardson Hitchins has been one of my guys, and I'm going to show you some things about Richardson Hitchins and just go over some of the background things and what I don't understand and why I feel as though Richardson Hitchins, you could say Rich Hitch, you could say Africa. That's probably the best way. Africa. You know what I'm saying? Africa. Or Richardson Hitchins. You know what I'm saying? You could say it. It's real easy. Or Hitch. You know what I'm saying? Create a nickname or whatever. But I think people need to put respect on this young man's name. You know, he doesn't have it's several things about Richardson that several categories that he don't fall in. He don't have one of these boxing dads, right? He's organic to Brooklyn. Like, he's all things New York. He has done nothing but represent his city and his state to the fullest. AC, salute. Bodywork, salute. AC. He has done nothing but represent his city and his state to the fullest. And he didn't do like a lot of people where they come in and shrink themselves down, you know what I'm saying, and basically weight bully. He came right in. He was match tough. And I got a fun fact. Y'all want to know a fun fact about Richardson Hitchins? I have a fun fact. This is the fun fact. Africa, aka Richardson Hitchins, has never fought somebody with an upside down record. You know how when you first come in, you will see somebody fighting somebody that's like 4-8 or 2-7 or 5-9-2. He has never fought somebody with an upside down record. He has always fought somebody that has had a winning record since his inception into the game in 2017. He has an Olympic pedigree, right? He might not have medal, but he has an Olympic pedigree. He's Haitian, you know, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I really believe that Richardson Hitchins don't get the credit he deserves. And I'll give you an analogy just to make it make sense, right? There was a channel, a big channel, right? And they were talking about how people in their culture, let's just say these guys were Dominican, right? This channel was Dominican in base, like in its base, it's Dominican. They were talking about how over there in their culture, right? Naturally, they have a propensity to treat the darker skinned ones a little more harsh, and they're not as receptive as they are to the lighter skinned ones. And this is an elephant in the room conversation. But a while back, I don't know if people have read the tea leaves and what I was actually saying when I said it. But since the channel was silences consent, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is grown men and women to remain silent, I said something about it. And you know what I said? The dark side of boxing. The dark side of boxing. If you look at it, right, they don't even hype, like, in going back to my analogy, right, that I was saying. If you look at it, when you think about somebody like Carlos Adames, a champion, he don't get the same praise as an Edgar Berlanga, even though Edgar Berlanga is Puerto Rican. But you get my drift. It's like, we gotta stop it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop it. Richardson Hitchins doesn't have one of these boxing dads, right? He don't have a whole band or a whole tribe around him backing him, right? He don't have one of these. Coach Lenny, I like Coach Lenny. Look, everything I've seen from Coach Lenny, he be coaching his ass off. He's a personable, he's a funny guy, but he's a no nonsense. Even when you look at the Liam Powell fight and the way he was talking to Richardson, He kind of remind me, and he's in the vein of a Kevin Cunningham, but I think Coach Lenny, he's like a little funnier. He smiles a little more than Coach Kevin Cunningham, but they cut from the same cloth in a sense to where they're disciplinarians, they're straight shooters. You know what I'm saying? They're going to give it to you straight up with no chaser. And that's the coaching. But if you look at his backing, he don't have a whole crew. He don't have a band of brothers. He don't have one of these boxing dads. He don't have, you know, all of the backing or the machine behind him, so to speak. But what did he do? What did he do? One, he survived TMT. And I'm going to play a clip from Richardson, Hitchins, and what he said, you know what I'm saying, to let you know. And he's been talking like this for a while, and people are they're conveniently trying to say that he's cocky now. But see, as a fan, I can show you. I can't even say the evolution of him. I can just say that he's been saying some of the same things all of this time in his tenure in professional boxing. It's just now he has a belt around his waist. He's starting to get even more popular names, even though he has one of the better resumes, contrary to popular belief. And we're going to go over that. And I touched a little bit on this the other day when I said that when I did this show, Boxing Talk Today, because Boxing Talk Today is so divisive. It's almost like red versus blue. You know what I'm saying? You know what it's like now. This is what Boxing Talk Today, but I tried to alleviate some of that. Try to give all these guys a fair shake. But I'm going to play a clip from Richardson Hitchins and something that he said, you know, but he's been talking like this for a minute now. He had been, see, what a lot of people don't realize is that Richardson, he had been called out Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. Let me see. Make sure my headphones are not connected. Let me disconnect my headphones real quick so that when I play this, it actually plays. But I want y'all to hear this.
Right now, I'm just kind of waiting, staying in the gym, waiting to see, like, who's the next Vic? Like I said, I'm here to take over the 140 division. Fuck the Devin Haney's, fuck the Ryan Garcias, fuck Teofimo Lopez. This is the Richardson. I've been saying to these guys, when they was getting a shine, and I was on the shelf with Mail of the Promotions, and I wasn't getting my just due. I said, when I get on the scene, these guys is gonna have to see me, and now I'm here. They gotta see me. That's it. They gotta see me. The people gonna be calling for the fight, and that's it. Like, and I said before, like, I feel like I'm one of the best. So if anybody feel away, they gotta come shut me up.
You see what he was saying? He said, when I was on the shelf over there on TMT, when I was on the shelf and they were getting their shines and I wasn't really getting mine. Why wasn't he getting the shines? Because he wasn't moving like everybody else. I just told you the man has never fought somebody with a losing record. I just told you that he's never fought somebody with an upside down record. He survived TMT. And I followed and I done, like, this is not something new. Like, I'm talking about him now, but I got proof. I'm gonna show y'all how I've been following along this whole time and watching them, because I did videos. I could do the same thing for Shakur. I could do the same thing for Tank. I could do the same thing for Devin. I could do the same thing for T.O. I could do the same thing for at the point in time when I got on to Subriel Matias. But I can show you the same things. I was talking about Richardson as well. I was talking about the Charlos as well. When Caleb Plant was having this run. When I got on the Anyway. Salute to my old head. When I got on the Anyway, I can show you in time. I have not been sticking to just one boxer. I've been trying to give all these guys a fair shake. I've been doing pieces on them, you know, defending them when they need to, pointing out little things when they needed it, and just covering them as a whole and what they bring to the sport. They're all different. Some of them are straight killers. You know, they go in there to inflict bodily harm. And this clown earlier was sitting up here talking about how the one I was talking about earlier, talking about how can you believe that there's people out here that just really is going to advocate for sheer violence? I'm like, we're talking about boxing, bruh. Boxing is violent. Football is violent. It was a point in time where it was a no-fly zone in basketball and you could not get in the paint. Ask the Detroit Pistons. So I don't know what this clown talking about. Advocating for violence. Boxing is perhaps one of the most violent sports. Some of these guys are straight killers. They go in there looking to do bodily harm. Some of them are pure boxers. Some of them are boxer punchers. Some of them are maulers. Some of them are brawlers. Some of them can do a little bit of it all. Richardson Hitchins happens to fall in the pure boxer category, only he never gets his shine or his credit as a pure boxer. He never gets the respect he deserves. Because a lot of people they're like name brand. It's like all things iPhone, all things Prada, Amiri, whatever name brand. Like in the boxing, you have your name brand, people that only go for people that actually have these big names. Right? Well, Africa has a name and he's legit. And for us to always be yearning or design or even whining or crying about American champions, it's a no wonder why when we do actually have an American champion, somebody from a place like Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Me being from Baltimore, looking at Tank. And matter of fact, the other day, speaking of Tank, I rode up Pennsylvania Avenue, right? And I looked to my right and I seen Upton Jim and I seen Coach Calvin standing outside talking to somebody. And I started to stop and say, "What up, Coach? What you know about Bodywork?" Because he know me. I got on there, man. I got on the rise a while ago, but I didn't do it. But like just to be standing out there on that street in that environment with his status, that take nuts. To have a boxing gym there, that take ball. But for a young man to come out of Brooklyn, and I'm talking about a man coming from the DC, PG County, now living in Baltimore area. That's me. But to come out of Brooklyn and put Brooklyn on your back and to defy all those odds to have a belt around your waist, not just any belt. The IBF that comes with the rehydration clause. You can't weight bully with that belt. You got to be real to hold that belt. You got to be fighting pretty much in your weight class to hold that belt. And that's one of the things. They're one of the most disciplined ones. That's the same belt that Earl had. That was the first one Earl had that he relieved of Kell Brook of. Serious belt is one of the ones that I put a little. I know everybody like the green belt. That's the most coveted one because it's the popular one and all that. But I'm talking about all things considered. We gotta put some respect on that IBF belt, man. It's the reason why people don't get in that line. It's a reason. But when he was over there in TMT, right, for whatever reason, he didn't get his shine or whatever. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a style. They just had him inactive, right? And I was like, dang, because he was kind of put through the ringer kind of early. Because you got to think about it. By the time he fought Malik Hawkins from Baltimore, Malik Hawkins was 18-1, I believe, at the time. Only person he had lost to was Sabril Matias. So for him to be fighting Sabril Matias at that time, he was already 18-1 when Richardson Hitchins fought him. So you do the math on that if you've been following along. You do the math on that. But what happened? Matchroom signed him. So this is 9/29/22 when I did a video on him saying Matchroom's newest star. So at that time, in September of 2022, that's when Matchroom got a hold of him and Eddie brought him on. Right? And I was like, okay, I was a little nervous, but I was excited that somebody from another major label picked him up and gave him shine, because if he didn't do that, who knows what would happen. We see the cases of the Blair Flairs. We see the cases of the Speedy Rashidi Ellises. We see these cases where these people be out of the ring, and it's like, where are you at? What's going on? When you're no longer affiliated with one of the big ones. But Matchroom picked them up. As time went on, I went ahead and did another one, and I was like, man, DNA of a champion. This is before this. I was saying he was a rising contender. Go back and look at this video when I was saying that DNA of a champion, Richardson Hitchins, he's a rising contender. And this is the whole thing. This guy was in the, he was, when he was in the amateurs and all that, he was in there at the same time when Jermaine Ortiz and Boots, and because you know Jermaine Ortiz and Boots fought, and Gary Antoine Russell and Shakur and all of them guys, man, they all was in the amateurs together. It's just like Richardson acts like they treat him like he's the black sheep, but he was there the whole time. East Coast guy. So more recently, what he became noted of is when I said the rise of Richardson Hitchins. And that says, if I remove this banner, that says IBF Eliminator. So that's when he was going against Gustavo Lemos. I was saying the rise of Richardson Hitchins, and he had the IBF Eliminator. But guess what? I'm also one of those same guys that after I saw the fight, when you had an in-shape Gustavo Lemos who had the 10-pound rehydration, came in the best shape, pushed Richardson Hitchins to the limit, guess what I did? Being true to form, I came out and I put Richardson Hitchins in my adversity university. And I was questioning whether or not, because he got a UD, but I was questioning whether or not it was a UD. That just goes to show the character of the Bodywork Boxing channel, where I put him in there because although I agreed that he won, I don't know if it was truly a unanimous decision. And this is when I actually had clips from CompuBox, and I went over the numbers, and I used to do all the stuff that people say they don't like. You know how 50 Cent did, Ja Rule. All you do is sing, you know what I'm saying? Got him, knocked him off his square. And then what happened? All you heard was 50 Cent crooning over tracks, you know what I'm saying? That's how they try to do me. So now everybody want to bring up facts and read articles and do all the things that I was on. But when I was doing it, I was doing too much. Right. But I put him in my adversity university, citing the fact that, yeah, he faced some adversity in that fight because he got pushed to the limit. And then what happened? Since he won the eliminator, he was next in line. And what did I say? Richardson Hitchins versus Liam Parole. Black Panther versus the Green Goblin. I said that this is a legacy-defining fight. Legacy-defined. I said this will actually define Richardson Hitchins' legacy. And guess what? Although Liam Parole got all the credit for beating the boogeyman and Sabril Matias, right? Richardson Hitchins don't get the credit for actually beating Liam Parole, who beat the man, right? But if we go back down to 135, when we make that analogy, right? Because even though Devin never fought Tio, there's rumors that it's on wax and it's about to happen, right? Even though Devin never fought Tio, at that time, they gave him full credit for beating Kambosos. And they say, what? Oh, man, he beat the man that beat the man. They don't do the same thing for Richardson Hitchins. They don't do the same thing. They don't give him the same grace. They don't give him the same credit. But I said that was a legacy-defining fight. In the next video I'll probably do with him and Kambosos, who they're not giving him any credit for that opponent, but guess what? They give Kambosos full credit because to hate on Tio, to say that, oh man, he beat Tio. Even though that was a close fight, it's just that he knocked Tio down early, flash knockdown. Later on, Tio knocked him down. I think he hurt Kambosos a little bit more when he knocked him down. But then when it came down to the championship rounds, Kambosos showed up and Tio faded. And Tio he has a history of kind of fading a little bit later on in fights if you go back and you look. Because even in the Loma fight, when in the first 7 rounds, I would probably say in probably the first 6-7 rounds, he made Loma put his hands in his pocket. Loma started getting active, made the fight more competitive. And in that instance, Teofimo Lopez tried to do something late, but it was a little clash of heads, and I don't think he wanted to get too wild. But he wound up beating Loma, right? But they give Devin all the credit in the world for going 24 rounds, going overseas and going 24 rounds with a George Kambosos, right? They gave George Kambosos credit for beating a Mickey Bay, right? I think it was Maxie Hughes that put, the Poom Ping Pals down on George Kambosos, right? But he got robbed because of a name. They give Lomachenko full credit for actually stopping George Kambosos. But I noticed that whenever there is a name, right, a notable name, like a Pedraza, you know what I'm saying? Like certain people will get credit for him fighting a Pedraza. Certain people will get credit for fighting a Gamboa. Other fighters, when they fight those same names, they don't get the same credit. Richardson and Hitchins is falling in the same line, where if you're going to give Kambosos credit for beating Teofimo Lopez for all of the belts, except for the one under the franchise belt that Loma tossed up. If you give him all that credit, right, and you give Devin credit for beating him twice, going 24 rounds with him, right, and you give Loma credit for stopping him, right, you have to give Richardson and Hitchins his credit. Because in one, you can't have it both ways and say that, oh man, Kambosos, he's failing up. He's getting all these, he's always in a big fight. He's always this and this. That you can't give him credit for being able to get opportunity after opportunity and then discredit the guy who's giving him another shot at the title for a victory. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's much like a lot of people didn't see Richardson Hitchins really handling Liam Paro. And I said, man, it's gonna be one of them things where if you reach, I'm gonna teach. Why? Because I've been saying that Richardson Hitchins is one of the most skilled pure boxers out there. I think his power is a little underestimated. His coordination and his boxing IQ is perhaps the thing that people don't really get. And to be honest with you, I personally have never seen a man in a boring fight. I've seen him when he dropped Juan Bowser with a 1-2. I think that the way he handled in the technical game plan that he handled, the way he came out a little bit slow, he worked his adjustments, and he handled Liam Paro in a way to where Liam Paro got frustrated. He didn't have any answers. If you look at his face after the fight, you can say it was boring all you want, but if you look at Liam Paro's face and you look at Richardson Hitchins after the fight, it tells you everything you need to know. It's just like if you thought it was a unanimous decision when Richardson Hitchins went up against Gustavo Lemos, the look of Richardson Hitchins told you everything you needed to know. It was a rough and tough fight. It was a very competitive fight. That was one of the most action-packed fights we had because it was a style clash. And Gustavo Lemos came with almost like that Brian Castano work, that changing levels, going to the body, being relentless. He had the shorter dimensions. Richardson Hitchins knows how to fight behind the jab. He knows how to bring the right hand into, and when he feels comfortable, he starts letting his hand go. I think some of these guys, I think he's a little more coordinated. And I think he's more athletic than people actually give him the credit for being. He's a pure boxer. Coquet, salute Bodywork. Salute Coquet. His twin in the building. Salute. But at first onset, man, Richardson Hitchins, man, we can talk about it resume. Richardson Hitchins, man, I don't know why we need to get behind these guys, man, because we can't really like be so infatuated with all things foreign and give credit to all these, things that's foreign, where it's good to have those names on your resume. There's stars in Japan, there's stars in Australia, there's stars in Argentina. It's all kind of stars right across the pond in the UK, right? It's stars in the Philippines. It's stars everywhere. We got Russian, we got the Ukraine. We got a lot of places where there's stars. But when we actually have a champion, we have to figure out a way to get motivated about him. We got to figure out a way to support these guys. We got to figure out a way to put our differences to the side, because sometimes when I'm over there in smoke session, one of my guys, bold and understanding, he'll say, man, when it comes down to this, these guys, man, their guys will support. And I'm like, and I question, I'm like, well, what about us when we have an opportunity to support? We'll find a way to detract. We'll find a way at the right point in time to devalue. We'll find the right time to like cause like even more friction behind a fighter instead of just supporting him. Cause we don't want him. It's gonna be a bad look, man, in Brooklyn. If the Brooklyn guy get upset by Kambosos, ferocious Kambosos, you know what I'm saying? Who I don't believe belongs at 140. That's another thing in my breakdown. If I happen to do another video before the fight, that's another thing. Kambosos don't have no business. It's just like Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull didn't really have no business at 140. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because of the dimensions. Those guys that are taller, longer, and they have Richardson Hitchins listed at 5'10", but I know he ain't 5'10" because I'm 5'10", and I was right in front of him, and he's not 5'10". That's what Bodywork said. He's not 5'10". Richardson looked like he about 5'8". You know what I'm saying? It's like they had in CompuBox, on Bodywork, they actually had Gary Antoine Russell being taller than Alberto Puello. Alberto Puello is damn near, he's got to be touching right there, right at 5'11", about to be 6 feet. And Gary Antoine, even though I haven't seen him in person, he got to be about 5'8", 5'9". You know what I'm saying? But those things work. But Kambosos in his dimensions, he don't have a long enough reach. Richardson Hitchins has a long reach. His IQ is way sharper than Kambosos. What would happen to make this fight go sideways is if Richardson Hitchins gets away from his game plan, right? If he gets away from his game plan and he rushes in with Kambosos being a counterpuncher and he abandons the game plan. Kambosos is a feisty guy. I think that if he lands flush or if he actually do touch you, I think that he can buzz you or knock you down or something like that. I don't think that he has the most power in the world, but this is going to be a matter of Kambosos not really being able to land nothing clean on him, and Kambosos getting frustrated. It's going to look worse than what Devin Haney did. Kambosos couldn't find a way in. Every now and again, he might get a little hype because Devin might have decided to stay in there with him too long. But it's going to be one of them things where all night he's going to reach and Richardson's going to teach. You know what I'm saying? And you can come back. You can make me eat crow. We can even bet on it. But I got Richardson Hitchins stopping Kambosos in this fight. You know what I'm saying? And I think that right now, this is something that Richardson Hitchins has been doing. He's been talking this shit. This is nothing new. This was nothing new. Like, I remember a time when Devin was down there at 35 and the Shakur and all that stuff. I think this is a little bit before the whole Shakur and Devin stuff and all the beef that they started having or whatever, when they were no longer like besties, right? Richardson Hitchins was already talking that spicy noise to Devin Haney. Guess who else was? Gary Antoine Russell was already talking that spicy noise to Devin. So this is just something to where a lot of Johnny come latelys acting like Richardson is just being this way and that way. At first, my knee-jerk reaction was like, when he first got the belt and seeing him on Instagram, it's just like, man, that's just a young man's pride, man. There's a lot of people out here in the street that take pride for doing a lot of things they shouldn't be doing. He's taking pride in having went and got a strap, not just any strap, an IBF strap off of a man who beat the man, and now he gets his chance to defend it. A notable name, somebody that he should get full credit for when he stop him or dog him. But looking at his resume, let's see what we got here in the comments. When it's all said and done, Hitchins beating Kambosos, Matias beating Puello, Paro win his fight. Matias is coming for Hitchins and Paro in 2026. It's up to Matias to show up. And yeah, I got something coming. I got something coming. I see my last video about Matias. It's starting to get back to form to where I'm getting the views that I used to getting when it come down to for Sabril. But I'm excited about Sabril, man. I wish he would sit down and do an interview with me, man. I put in a lot of work for Sabril, man, and I let these guys just run with it, run with my questions, run with my train of thoughts, run with my talking points. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, man, at least I'm contributing to the sport. But yeah, I want to see it. This is what I'm trying to say. I believe that Richardson Hitchins, he deserved the right to actually have this fight. It's a notable name. It's going to build up his cachet. It's going to put some Australian on his resume. And for a guy who's never had an upside down, have never fought an upside down fighter, you know, I think that's pretty strong. All these other champions, whenever they win a belt, they get to pick whoever and then bring them back home, and you know, it could be whatever. Now, Kambosos, you can't say he's been inactive because he came back, he put hands on his dude that he just fought, you know what I'm saying? And he's not coming off of a loss, you know, because he did something after the Lomachenko fight. He actually was able to do something, you know, and Kambosos he's actually coming with a little bit of fire, you know. But I want to see after this, I do want to see Richardson Hitchins against Puello. I do want to see Richardson Hitchins against T.O. You know, granted, if T.O. don't go to 47, right? But I want to see him against Matias. I want to see him against Puello. I want to see him against Gary Antoine Russell. And y'all already know how I feel about 140. 140 is my division. 140 is my division. I always say, I call it the row, meaning that on any given night, it can go down. So I want to see any combination of this. And it's almost like everything is getting hogged up. Everybody just talking about T.O. We barely talk about Gary Antoine Russell. We barely talk about Puello. And whenever Hitchins is brought up, they just shit on him. I'm like, I wonder why. Someday you're going to be a champion, right? Someday you're going to have a champion. A grassroots champion. Like we got a champion from Baltimore, right? We got a champion from Brooklyn, right? You're going to want to support him. Puerto Rico had a champion in Sabril Matias, man. Everybody was behind, man. I think he just had a bad night at the office. It wasn't as bad as the night when T.O. fought Kambosos. It wasn't that bad of a night, but he just had a bad night at the office. He's back in rare form, won't have any rehydration, and he's getting ready to fight Alberto Puello, the Wasp, against El Orgullo de Martinillo, the Pride of Motherhood, Sabril Sub-Zero No Mas Tias. That's a barn burner. That's probably the best. Man, that might be the best fight on the card, quiet as kept. That might be the best fight on the card. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody just saying how Shakur just gonna wash Zepeda and how, you know, he ain't on his level and this, but they want the fight. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They wanted that fight. Like Shakur said, man, I wanted this fight so bad. But in the same breath, him and all his fans, the only fans are saying that Zepeda ain't shit. I'm like, well, why do y'all want that fight? You know, at least when Tank was going up against Lamont Roach, he was a champion. He actually had a belt around his waist, but and Tank wasn't like, I want this fight so bad. It was just, hey, this guy didn't want to fight. That guy didn't want to fight. What y'all want me to do? I don't get it. But I think the Alberto Puello defending his strap against the killer in every sense of the word, that's Sabril Matias, is the best card, best fight on the card, man. Because if you look at it, it's the most competitive one. Why? Because they're true 147 pounds with pedigree. You got to think, Alberto Puello is a two-time champion. Sabril Matias was the IBF boogeyman when nobody wanted to fight him. The only one that was actually saying his name was Gary Antoine Russell. Liam Paro took a bite of the apple when Devin and Rowley at the time and T.O. would not give the man an opportunity. They're true 147s. But then we got Hamza Shiraz. He's moving up. That's going to be his first time in the division. Coming off a questionable performance against Carlos Adames, who, even though I was going for Hamza Shiraz, they gave Adames the nod. Yikes. You know what I'm saying? He's moving up. Belongs is for the dude that did a 10-year bid. He had a muffin top. People was clowning him for having a C-section. And for going the distance with where he got washed by Canelo. And I respect Belonga, you know what I'm saying, for putting his people in his back, being from New York and all that. But come on, man. As far as the matchmaking, the best match, the one that you could say is 50-50 the most, to where you don't really know what exactly is going to happen, is Alberto Puello and Subriel Matias. And on that same card, you got the talented Mr. David Morrell fighting on that card as well, coming back against Amin, who's nothing to shake a stick at. I think he's just a brutal puncher, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he got nothing. And I think whenever you share the ring with talent like a David Benavidez, you kind of gain something from it, you know what I'm saying, in that matchup, because a lot of people gaslight you on how dominant of a performance it was with David doing that to David Morrell. It was I would lean towards dominance, you know what I'm saying, as far as CompuBox, but if you watch the fight, it was a very competitive fight. It was very competitive. It wasn't just like he went in there and dog walked the man. But if you look at that card, David Morrell, right, the Cuban that's living in Minnesota, the Cuban, right, who shared the ring with David Benavidez, going against Amin. You got Subriel Matias going against Alberto Puello. Well, Alberto Puello defending his WBC strap. You got Shakur Stevenson defending his title against William Zepeda. The one who they saying is, you know, everybody's saying he's a hype job now and he ain't got nothing for him, and Shakur gonna show his levels, right? And then you got Hamza Shiraz moving up for his first time in the weight class against a knockout artist in Edgar Berlanga, who's never tasted the championship. Which one is the most competitive fight on that card, if we're going to be honest? You would have to say it's Alberto Puello against Subriel Matias. So I would love to see the winner of that go up against Richardson Hitchins. I would love to see Richardson Hitchins get it on with T.O. I would love to see Richardson Hitchins get it on with Gary Antoine Russell. I would love to see Gary Antoine Russell get a rematch with Alberto Puello. Even if Alberto Puello comes up short against Subriel Matias. Even if Subriel Matias comes up short against Alberto Puello, I still want to see him and Gary Antoine Russell get it on. And I still want to see Gary Antoine Russell and Teofimo Lopez get it on. Why? Because 140 is one of the most competitive divisions in boxing. 140-pound division and 154-pound division. And right now, the 147-pound division is getting there. It's getting stacked real quick. Real quick. It's getting ready to get back, because a lot of people was thinking that 147 being the glamour division after Spence, after the whole Spence and Bud thing, after they left, that it wasn't nothing. 147 is making a comeback, man. But the 140-pound division is one of the most competitive divisions in boxing, man. Especially the ones who are true 140-pounders, like the ones who've been there, bodies filled out. You know, they not weight bullying and all that. They really in their right weight class. That's why it's one of the most competitive divisions. 154 is like, it might be a little more competitive, whereas on any given night, you know what I'm saying, you can go down, but both of those divisions are the most competitive divisions in boxing, in my opinion. He said T.O.'s a Florida boy, even though, let me see, Haney's first 19 opponents had a losing record. If Haney had Hitchins' resume, Haney maniacs will go crazy. Yeah, T.O. to me get overhyped. Gary Antoine Russell, Puello, and Hitchins have had better performances. Yeah. Yep. He said, I'm gonna be at the fight Bodywork. It's in Queens, New York, July 12th. Man, that's what's up, man. Man, I know you geek for that. Haney waiting for the next old opponent to cherry pick. We won't see Haney fight a guy in his 20-year-old for a while. In his 20s, yeah, in his 20s. Yeah, I mean, somebody put out a video before I went live saying that fight was etched in stone. I don't know, man. It's so much. People be doing so much false advertising on YouTube now. Everybody got a source, or according to my source, and my sources said, they saying that, but I don't know, man. With some people, I don't believe it until I see it, Koki. I think we going on vacation around that time. We got a family vacation. We going, man. We gonna go. Then we going down to Virginia Beach. So I think we're gonna be on vacation at that time, I believe. But wherever I'm at, I'm gonna find a way to watch that joint. I'm shocked Barrios got Pacquiao before Haney, but Pacquiao is dangerous. I mean, yeah, he is. I'm just not. I'm not happy about that whole situation. I'm not really ecstatic about it, but I mean, Pacquiao, he used to be one of my guys. I used to like Pacquiao, man, and the energy and how he was. Like, he was always, I remember being when I used to go play pool all the time. I remember being at one of those sports balls, pool halls, watching him and when he fought Miguel Cotto, man. And I thought Miguel Cotto started off, it was looking bad for Pacquiao, and Pacquiao came back, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the best fights I watched, man, back then. That was I liked that fight, man. Great fight. Pacquiao came through, did what he needed to do. Virginia Beach, fun, a lot of water parks, military town. My family from PR lived there. Yeah. I've been there, man. I stayed at the Crown Plaza, man. One time, I was like, man, it's when I was over the road. I said, man, let me try out to find the things, man. So I had booked one of them penthouses man. It was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I treated myself to a weekend there. And I went to reggae back when they used to have the little reggae festivals. I went down there during that time, man, seeing all the people doing the reggae, playing the music, selling all the stuff. It was nice, man. But we gonna go down there. It's a short little drive for us. It ain't nowhere from here, from Baltimore. So for me anyway, as a driver, it's a dumb fight in my opinion. Yeah, man, I don't like the fact that he can come back and skip the line and intercede. I mean, I guess he wouldn't be interfering with nothing if them guys didn't have no money or no offer for Barrios. I can't blame Barrios because he's getting the legend, but I wasn't impressed with Barrios, and Barrios was inactive, before then. He had the baby and all that, so that fight was off. He was supposed to fight Boots. Said he had a baby, which I respect. You gotta take time, procreate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get that on and tend to the family. But him coming off an activity and then him fighting with that Abel Ramos like that. Well, Abel Ramos really, he won in that, in my opinion. I'm like, man, that was nasty work to let Pacquiao come out of the blue and get a shot at that title. Cotto was my guy. Saw him live in PR in NYC, and he came to the Bronx one time to train in the ring. That was in the street by the subway. Yeah, Koki. That's dope, Bodywork. You excited for the fight this weekend? Nothing crazy. Just some solid fighters. Yeah, I'm kind of happy for Maul getting back. You know what I'm saying? I got Caleb Plant watching this dude. Caleb Plant, it's kind of crazy. This is not a double standard, but I kind of expected a little bit more from Caleb Plant in the comeback. I didn't expect Maul to come back and try to fight King Kong right away just because of what he's been through. Now, Caleb Plant, he had got his feet wet with McCombie. I was looking for somebody, on that level. Now, Resendiz, he put hands and feet on Jared Hurd, but at that point, and busted his lip up. Oh my God. That was one of the nastiest things I seen. I wanted him to retire then, man. Jared Hurd came back and got one more fight after that. And he said he was gonna stay true to form and retire. But Resendiz, you know, I was expecting more. I was expecting somebody higher than the level of Resendiz for Charlo. It might sound like a double standard, but he's been active, you know, and with all the stuff with him and Edgar Berlanga and all that, I expected something more along those lines, like a bigger name, you know. But, you know, we'll see what we get when Resendiz fight Caleb Plant. I just hope Maul get through, you know, his competition, his level of competition. And that's really what I'm looking for this weekend. You know, I want to see Maul get back and, you know, get another win in the column. But, you know, boxing, you know, is a truth serum. We're actually going to see who Maul really is coming back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see who he is, man. I'm just glad, and I'm giving him a little grace for dealing with mental health. Because, you know, people like Cody Crowley, people like even Rowley talked about mental health. Ryan Garcia, they talk about mental health. There's a lot of boxers, man, that kind of get grace for mental health. Not so much for Maul Charlo, you know what I'm saying? Not so much. So that's what I'm most excited about. That's what I'm most excited about, man. But let me break down something for y'all, man. So it's not just lip service, right? Richardson Hitchins, he's 19-0. He got 7 knockouts, 36.8% knockout ratio. They got him listed at 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. I kind of believe the reach. I know the height ain't right. I know that height ain't right. I'm 5'10". I know he ain't 5'10" as well. I'm gonna go over this. His first fight, he fought a guy at 141, Mario Alberto Perez Navarro. He was in it, and that was in the Barclays Center. He was 1-0. Alexander Pico, he was 2-2-1. Jordan Morales, he was 2-2. Charles Stanford, he was 2-2. Alexander Charneco Vega, he was 4-4. Cesar Valenzuela, he was 7-2. Then we start getting to names, right? He fought a guy named Trayshawn Wiggins, who I just heard he went on to become a coach. Trayshawn Wiggins. He fought Trayshawn Wiggins. His name was ringing bells when he first came in the game. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened with Trey. I think he wound up getting, you know, match made and, you know, and was taking some bad matchups, but his name was ringing bells coming out the amateur. Then he fought a guy, David Morales, 13-9. Then he had Alejandro Munera. He was 4-1-3. Then he fought Kevin Thunderstorm Johnson. Kevin Thunderstorm Johnson was 7-1 at the point in time. He UD'd him. Nicholas De La Bamba, he was 16-2. He UD'd him. Argenis Mendez. Everybody, I used to like Argenis Mendez, man. I think he just had got a little long in the tooth, I think. And I like this style, man. I liked Argenis Mendez, man. He was 25-5-3. Split decision. Malik Hawkins, he UD'd Malik Hawkins when Malik Hawkins was 18-1. Only loss was the stoppage by no other than Sabril Matias. Angel Sarinana Rodriguez, he was 12-10. TKO in the 4th round. Yomar Alamo, I know y'all know that name. That was over with in the 8th. He was 21-1. He did that out there in Cleveland. Juan Bowser, he just beat the brakes off of Juan Bowser. Juan Bowser was 17-0. 17-0. UD'd him in the 10-rounder. Jose Zepeda, He UD Jose Zepeda, and we all know about Jose Zepeda. 37-3. Unanimous decision. Then he had Gustavo Lemos, 29-0. Gustavo Lemos was 29-0. 12-12. And we seen how that fight, they gave him a unanimous decision. You know what I'm saying? Then he got Liam Paro. Liam Paro was 25-0. Win split decision, but that really should have been a unanimous decision. I don't know who had that, but that was politics in boxing. I don't know who scored that one judge. That one judge. It was 116-112. It was 116-112, 111-117, and 116-112. So I don't know what fight that person who scored it. I think that was 111-117. That might have been Nelson Vasquez who scored that in favor of Liam Paro. I don't know what fight they was watching. He did that down there in Puerto Rico. And of course, he got George Kambosos, 22-3. He only lost three. He only lost 3 times. He got stopped by Lomachenko, and Devin Haney beat him twice. So the disrespect for Richardson and Hitchins, man, that's what I be trying to say, man. The dude only lost Kambosos. He only lost 3 times. Two of them was to Devin. One of them, he got stopped by Lomachenko. And even though I think Maxie Hughes really beat him, you know what I'm saying, that should have been, you know, something on his resume, but that didn't happen. So in the history books, that's what it's going to show. So the disrespect, man, for, you know, him getting another shot against Richardson Hitchins, another title shot, can't give him credit for the title shot and then discredit Richardson Hitchins when he beat the brakes off of him. And that's his resume, man. But I gave y'all the fun fact. I put some stakes in the ground for Richardson Hitchins, man. I wanted to come out and do this, give this light, because I wanted him to get his own shine in a sense, because I did do this video, and I think that this video, I did this video where it was a big portion of me talking about the culture of boxing talk and how it's so tribal and one-sided and divisive. And in that, I talked a little bit about Richardson Hitchins there. But I wanted to come out and give him a fair shake and say that this man don't get no respect, man. I've been watching him. You know what I'm saying? Like, go back and look at these videos. These are the thumbnails for the videos when I actually did, you know, videos on him over the years. Because this is, and it's not the only one. There was a couple I left out, you know. But this one was back in September of 2022. DNA of a champion. I've been saying he had the DNA of a champion. I profiled the Eliminator fight. I even gave my man some constructive criticism and spoke about him in Adversity University. Where you won't hear a lot of these creators out here ever give any kind of contrary. They'll gaslight you all about their favorite fighter. They're never critical of their own. Me, I can be critical of my own. I'm gonna be respectful when I do it. Right? And I don't know if y'all noticed the evolution of my thumbnails over the years. The quality has gotten better, right? But it's a lot of times I've gotten away from really kind of like showing somebody get knocked down or being on the canvas. Every now and again, I might do one like that, but I kind of got away from that out of respect for the boxers, man. But I can be critical of my guys. I did this one when I highlighted the last time I talked about this and him being the black sheep and why I think he don't get as much credit. I called it the dark side of boxing. And this is the latest contribution right here with the, I don't get no respect. He's the IBF champion, man. Having that IBF belt alone should demand respect. Being an American champ should get respect. Being from New York should be respect. You know what I'm saying? Being from Brooklyn should get respect. You know, and always putting on for New York. You know, that should get respect, man. You know, surviving TMT should get respect. Put some respect on this man's name. Now, if you go in there and get washed, have your way. Have your fair share of criticisms, man. But let's give this man his credits. You know what I'm saying? Let's give this man his salutes. You know, it's not until faded glory or when somebody get washed or knocked out or when they're on the downside of the career when you go back and look and say, you know what, man, this guy wasn't that bad. Actually, no, let's give him their respect in real time. The same way he was doing, the same way this channel was doing for Sabril Matias. You know what I'm saying? They try to like discount Gary Antoine Russell after the Pueblo loss, and now they hop back on it after seeing what he did to Rayo. Let's give him some respect. Let's give Rayo some respect for having one of the best resumes in boxing. Let's give Rayo some respect for having one of the best resumes in boxing, man. El Rayo, man. For sharing the ring with some killers, man. When you look at it, I got to do a video on El Rayo, man. But I look forward to this weekend. That's what I'm looking forward to this weekend, for real, for real. That's the main thing for me. You know, and I'm still grinding and working, man. Life, I heard Coach Prentice Brewer said, man, I had said it like a couple weeks before him, just talking to my lady. I was like, life be life. And when he said the same thing in that interview, I was like, man, great minds, like minds, you know what I'm saying, think alike. You know, life be life. And so I'm on the grind. I just wanted to give another contribution, put another stake in the ground. If you enjoy the content, if you appreciate the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Share the videos. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to let people know that there is somebody out here doing that body work. This is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. Fact-based content, not opinion-based. You know what I'm saying? Even though I have my opinions and I don't do yes men. You know, we disagree all the time. Me and the fellas, we disagree all the time. Sometimes we win somebody over. Sometimes it get a little bit heated. Sometimes we do a little bit light sparring. So catch us over there on Smoke Session. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to Smoke Session Sports and Entertainment. If I'm not over there and I'm talking boxing, if I'm not over here, I'm probably over there. You know what I'm saying? But support the channel, man. Support the channel. If you found something of value, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I encourage feedback. It helped the algorithms. You know, I already be having StreamYard working against me. I got a lot of clones out here. A lot of people I have relationships in boxing, and for one reason or another, either they start like jacking, like start copying, just created stupid, silly beefs. Can't take somebody challenging them in their opinions. You'd be surprised how many people who won't allow people around them or to be around them because they have to have you agree with them all the time. I'm not one of those people. You know what I'm saying? So support the channel if you can. You know, I am monetized. I got it the hard way. I'm like Richardson in a lot of ways, man. I didn't join a group and have all these people co-signing and get on the back of the coattails of all these people. I got every subscriber one by one by one. I didn't pay for none of them. I didn't pay for views. I was authentic in my content. I didn't copy anybody. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things about this channel, a fun fact about this channel is I do all my thumbnails myself. It's not an application. I don't put in things in a template and then let it pop out. You know what I'm saying? Actually, all of them. And you can kind of see in my thumbnails how they've evolved. Because look, this is like that. Some of these was of like later on, like, but I'm getting better and better, and learning how to do it myself is an asset. It's a skill that nobody can take away from me. I can redesign and reconstruct things all over. And I do thumbnails. I'll help you out with your thumbnail if you need it. Holler at me. Bodywork Boxing 24/7 at Gmail. You know what I'm saying? If you need help or you need some, you know, if you need help, holler at me. You know. But like I said, support the channel. But I appreciate everybody who came in the building. Coach Key, Bill's Boot Camp, his twin Cookie Monster, AC, light night, but I appreciate everybody who came in, man. You know, I know my 300, we're gonna be here, you know what I'm saying? The 300 is gonna be here, man. But that's all I had, man. Let's put some respect on the young guy Richardson Hitchins, man. He got it out the mud and he did it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Let's put some respect on this man's name. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, Rex? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.